Good to see you, gamers. Shep here from Gaming Introspection. I don't usually do news videos. This is a retrospective focused channel, and I spend most of my time looking backwards instead of forwards. But when it broke that Super Mario RPG was getting a full-on remake by Nintendo, my heart soared! Higher than the tallest clouds in the Nimbus Kingdom. And I know that there are some fans out there who share my excitement. Every time a game is remade, we feel mixed emotions. We have anticipation of the newly designed graphics, especially if the game is from our childhood, and hope of new levels, characters, or completely unexpected additions. But there's also always a sense of dread that the developers will take out a crucial section, character, or game mechanic that makes the original so beloved. Some of us just want remakes to be modernized graphics on top of pretty much exactly the same gameplay. Others want a really fresh take on the whole gameplay, and even the storyline, which was the case in games like the Final Fantasy VII Remake. What camp do you fall into, and what are your hopes and worries about the remake of Super Mario RPG that's due in November? I'd like to chime in with a few of mine, and I'd love to hear your opinions on what you're excited or anxious about. And please, if you like classic content like this, please like and subscribe. As Unaleska said near the end of Final Fantasy X, hope is comforting. So we'll start with the hopes first. I'm really hoping Nintendo can make Luigi an actual character this time. If you watch my retrospective on the original, one of the big misses I talk about is how Luigi's just not given any screen time. Not 1 second! Outside of this pathetic parade sprite in the game's ending. We get a quote from him at Star Hill, and there's a character who I think might be Luigi, but I can't prove it. The only other mention of him is in the instruction manual. Oh, that is bottom of the barrel. You know, I'd be totally fine with Luigi being a hidden character, or even locked behind a convoluted side quest. Hell, I'd even pay $10 for a DLC fee just to get him in the game. That's the way the video game industry is trending anyway. But at the very least, I hope he's included in some way. Even as a guest party member, even an NPC. Anything besides one line of dialogue at Star Hill and this. I mean, you could adapt him into having similar features as Mario, but maybe having trouble with ghost enemies, or being a coward and running away.
Make it happen, Nintendo!
Wouldn't it be cool if, after you beat the game, you got to do the same storyline again, but with Luigi instead of Mario? You know how in games like Mario Galaxy and its sequel, you can do the quest with Luigi? That would be awesome! He could have his own stats and slightly altered special moves, and they wouldn't need to make him talk because Mario clearly retains his mute status anyway. Hey, just let me dream, alright? All of the photos and gameplay that have been released so far have me ecstatic for the battle system. First, it looks like they're retaining the larger amounts of HP and damage numbers that the original had. By this, I mean starting with the Paper Mario games and into the Superstar Saga spin-offs, HP and damage were all pretty much single or maybe double-digit quantities, making it very RPG-light. But the original had stats and damage calculations more along the lines of Chrono Trigger, for example. By the way, can you imagine a Chrono Trigger remake? Or perhaps you already have. Many times. Well, it was rumored just before the Nintendo Direct that CT was actually the game that was going to be remade. And just before the Direct, an HD remastered trailer created by 3D visual designer Dot was released, giving us all an impression of what it could look like. The entire franchise has been dormant since 2000's Chrono Cross, and I just don't get why Square Enix is walking away from hundreds of millions of dollars here. Anyway, I digress, as I often do. But back to Mario RPG's battles, we see Peach clobbering enemies with a frying pan for over 250 damage! And what looks like Mario's Ultra Jump demolishing piranha plants for tons more! I love it! Also, we can see flower points clearly at the bottom, which indicates the party will still need to share this stock for special moves. One thing that needs fixing though is that Mario RPG's battles were so pathetically, brutally easy. Enemies die in just 1 or 2 hits, with extremely easy timing windows to ensure that your double strength timed attacks land, or that your special move suddenly boosts everyone's stats all at once. Foes would either miss you completely or do no damage at all, even with area of effect attacks, or against boss characters. It's just dumb! Some monsters would start with debilitating status effects, or simply run away. When you use a precious item like a full heal, you're often given a freebie, so you can just use it again. You can sell easy-to-find items to make a fortune, and certain power-up flowers let you attack constantly, or double your experience points for some reason. Oh, and then you had Geno Whirl, which instantly annihilates any normal enemy. I'm not asking Nintendo to make it very hard or inaccessible to anyone, just don't allow Mario to 0 damage block an attack from the final boss. That's all I ask.
Oh damn, it's Smithy. It's the final boss. Here it comes, hear it.
To the trailer's credit, it looks more involved, to be sure. We see some different visuals, like percentage counters, and what I assume are combo or attack chains that are new to the remake, as well as visual cues that some attacks are unblockable, whereas the original gave you no idea which attacks were defendable or not. These counters and chains give me hope that there's more to this battle system that we have yet to experience. Maybe if you time so many attacks in a row, you'll be granted one-time buffs or abilities to use in that battle. And this percentage meter, what's this all about? It looks oddly complicated for a Mario game. To me, it seems like doing timed attacks like Mallow's Thunderbolt helps raise it. What happens when it's at 100%? Also, I wonder what the leveling system will be. Keep it static and simple like old school RPGs, or retain the customization from the original? Maybe expand upon it. I'm also hoping the crew learns some more attacks too. We already see some staple attacks like Thunderbolt and Geno Blast, but that's nothing new. And there were only 5 skills for each character in the OG RPG.
Also, they should make every star really hard to get this time around.
Remember Star Hill from the original? You literally just walk through the area, move upwards, and there it is. Just sitting there. So you collect the star and move on. With no suspense, no battle after you get the star. Nothing. It's just a brutally easy chapter of the game. Oh, that's just unacceptable. I'm hoping Star Hill in general is much more important here, as it seems it should be very integral to the plot of a game titled Legend of the Seven Stars.
One of the things I've learned in creating these videos is that fans of Super Mario RPG absolutely adore the battle music. That is awesome, and who am I to judge?
One of my popular shorts has been one where I transfer Super Mario Bros. 3's Hammer Bros music into a Mario RPG battle, in hopes of hearing something different. But the public has assured me that the original is golden. Myself, I find it to just be very, very repetitive. Especially since it's the only regular battle music in the entire 30-hour game, not counting any tougher or boss enemies, which do have excellent themes that are remixed in the trailer. Battles were so easy, as I've mentioned, you just heard those first few notes ad nauseum, over and over.
Surprisingly, that original battle theme is non-existent in the 2-minute trailer, as far as I can tell, so I'm hopeful they've changed it completely. But having said that, there are other recognizable melodies from the original Super Mario RPG that are exactly the same, except with enhanced instruments. So I'm sure fans of the original battle music will be rejoicing when they hear it return.
And that's fine. I've learned that many of you gamers enjoy it. I'm just hopeful that it won't be the only standard enemy fight theme throughout the 30-hour adventure this time. A music player feature, which was brought to my attention by a viewer, also would be amazing, because the rest of Mario RPG soundtrack is absolutely mint. Given it's such a long game, it'd be great to be able to hear those tunes at any time.
So the original Super Mario RPG has incredible humor and writing. I talk about it at length in my hits retrospective, but basically there's so much witty banter, and it doesn't matter which character you're talking about.
Main party members, villains, even the narrator, they all have unique personalities that defy any character archetype. Bowser shows a shocking amount of vulnerability and sensitivity, while facing immense pressure to retain his narcissistic, powerful image. He even shares haikus. Shopkeepers freak out at Mario for standing on their counters, yet become cowards when enemies are invading, while still insisting Mario leaves them coins and adheres to the honor system. Booster is a major antagonist, but he has no real seriousness to anything he does, because his mental stability is non-existent. He doesn't even understand basic human emotions, such as crying. Bastard just wants to have his cake and eat it too. Speaking of wants, this mushroom kid simply wants to take a piss. Why is he denied this for such an excruciating amount of time? Oh, poor dude. In the original, Psychopath was a fantastic spell that, while providing basic utility for showing enemies remaining HP, also gave you an insight into their psyches. You could learn some amusing or oddly dark or philosophical secrets from every single enemy in the game. But it's extra content like this that developers enjoy leaving on the cutting room floor, as it's really unnecessary to, well, anything. They may not realize that if they take this away, it wrecks the oddball, wacky humor that permeates the game, even within the battle sequences. Nowadays, any extra text is just not there. Looking at RE4 again, the original still let you examine objects and get some descriptions to show Leon's mood, but the remake just usually lets the environment's much enhanced graphics tell the story. I don't know, it just loses a bit of old school charm and humor. In the past, RPGs were wordy. There was no voice acting, so the writers really worked to cram personality into games through the captions on screen. Luckily, I've yet to see a Mario game with a full voiceover, so maybe this worry is a bit unfounded. Fingers crossed that the staff involved will competently recreate the wit, charm, and slight insanity that differentiated every single townsperson, bad guy, and boss. This is something everyone worries about in remakes. Games are ridiculously expensive to produce, which we got proof of during this ongoing Microsoft trial. In this article by Robert Carnevale of TheWrap.com, he cites estimates upwards of $200 million for The Last of Us Part 2 and Horizon Forbidden West.
Given the effort and money required, we have a lingering fear that special, small, but important character interactions or activities will just be tossed aside in favor of really awe-inspiring graphics and all the particle effects that will help transition the game into an HD era, a 4K, an 8K era of just magnificent, stupendous, amazing visuals. Because that's important.
Mario RPG has so many little features that make it unique. The tadpole pond is returning for sure, but do you think we'll still be able to compose our own music with the tadpole's help? Will we be able to find cameos of Link and Samus at various inns throughout the journey?
And perhaps most importantly, will Culex still be available as an optional final boss?
I'm worried that this in particular won't even be mentioned. It would be a damn shame too, because the Culex fight has the best battle music and is the most difficult challenge in the entire game. While Square Enix is listed here at the end of the trailer, it might just be because Geno is their copyrighted character. There's no mention of Square Enix being involved in the actual development in the new iteration, so chances are we won't get the same kind of surprise fan service that Super Nintendo fans drooled over. We'll likely open that same door in Monstro Town, trembling with excitement, and then see some lame-ass Mario Universe enemy, like Bowser Jr. Or no, worse yet, King Boo, frantically making their weird sound effects in a desperate attempt to generate some excitement before the battle transitions to that same starry background with that same awful battle music from the original game pumping through the speakers.
Yeah, that music doesn't seem so good anymore, does it? But to each their own. And I digress. The thing is, will Nintendo go to all that trouble to recreate each and every minigame? There are reasons to be hopeful, I suppose.
We get a glimpse of the minecart race, and I was so excited to see the hide behind the curtain scene recreated from Booster's Tower. But what about Dodo's statue polish orchestral sequence? Will that be escalated and shown the same love? Speaking of love, will we get a beautiful CGI animated version of Bowser and Booster kissing Mario? Will Peach's kiss be more passionate? As in, will Mario actually turn his head to recognize the kiss? And afterwards, will Mario continue to search for Peach's unmentionables in her bedroom? Will the mayor of Seaside Town still be brutally tortured through the ancient sadistic art of tickling? If you refuse to pay extra money at the luxurious Marrymore Hotel Suite, will Mario still be forced to repay his debt by working as a bellhop? I sure hope so, because mute Mario spazzing out and jumping everywhere just to stress how extravagant this suite is ranks right up there with my not just Mario RPG, but Mario moments ever.
Personally, I'm in that middle ground when it comes to what I expect from a remake of a game. I'd want the gameplay and the tone to be mostly familiar, but I'd also appreciate some exploration or side quests or bonus opportunities that would keep veteran gamers enthused.
RE4's remake is a great example of this. It retains the mood and gameplay from the original very well, but there's tons of additions, and the level geography is expanded and redone to make it so even veterans have to pause and examine their next move. In Mario RPG, every location is its own little hub, wherein you simply access everything from a quick and easy world map screen. Viewing the trailer, I saw absolutely nothing that departed from the original. Every area, even down to the level geometry, looked exactly like the original with an HD coat of paint added to it. I'm hoping there'll at least be a few extra paths to take, or perhaps that you don't need to enter and exit every area from these little rectangle protrusions all the way through. I know Booster's room has a standard rectangle partition, but it leads directly to the tower exit, so that one makes sense. Maybe there's more to other areas.
If you could simply travel Mario RPG's world unencumbered, it would really do a lot to make the game feel bigger, more complete. But I get the sense from looking at all the screenshots that the remake is staying very close to the original as far as that's concerned. And that concerns me because if there's no variation at all and every little path is exactly the same, it takes some of the excitement out of revisiting such a classic.
Hopefully, there's more that I'm not seeing, so that even diehards will have something new to uncover. At the very least, it looks like we'll get some polished Super Smash Bros. Style cinematic scenes to highlight the beloved characters in an HD glory that they all deserve. Especially Geno. He is simply a badass and the best.
Well, gamers, those are the thoughts that got into my head when I thought about this remake and everything it's going to entail.
To conclude, I refer back to my opening thoughts. Where do you stand on Nintendo remaking this? Have you pre-ordered already? Waiting with bated breath? Are you waiting for critical and fan response before committing? Or are you just damn sick of the remake frenzy that's taken over the gaming industry since 2020? Please let me know in the comments.
And if you're a decade or two removed from the original and you'd like to catch up, go check out my retrospective on the hits and misses of Super Mario RPG. Take care, everyone. It's always good to see ya, and enjoy the summer.